Lavrov warns against repeating in Syria the scenario which was followed in Iraq and Libya, underlining the need for cooperation to combat terrorism. The Syrian Arab army destroys a hideout for the terrorist organization of al-Nusra in Idlib countryside, killing all the terrorists inside. Demonstrations are held at several Turkish universities condemning Erdogan's policies that support terrorists in Syria. And a new national vaccination campaign against polio starts in Syria, and it will last until Thursday in all medical and sheltering centres countrywide. The British Telegraph newspaper: a woman from Kosovo receives her child who returned from Syria after being escorted by his father, who was fighting with terrorists there. Good afternoon. Welcome to our news bulletin. I'm Dania Nizam. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warned against repeating in Syria the same scenario which was carried out in Iraq and Libya, where the motive of spreading democracy was used, while each country is now on the verge of being divided. Lavrov asserted that the deterioration of the situation in Iraq and Libya, as well as in other regions, has led to the emerging of extremist terrorist organizations such as Al-Qaeda and al-Nusra, and recently Daesh, that should be fought because they constitute a threat to everyone. The Russian minister said that the terrorist organizations which appeared in the Middle East have a certain impact on the whole world, and they have become abundant after the invasion on Iraq in 2003, when that country was struck and invaded without a UN Security Council resolution. On the Russian-US relations, Lavrov considered that they are frozen, or indeed they have reached a deadlock as a result of different stances towards a number of international issues. Lavrov pointed out that Washington tries to subjugate the keys in the international relations to serve its own interests and to punish the countries that disagree with it, while the US lacks the zeal when the talks deal with the implementation of international conventions and laws. The national vaccination campaign against polio started today and will last until Thursday in all medical centres in Syria.
The campaign is a continuation of what the touring vaccination teams in the Ministry of Health have started. The target of the campaign is to eliminate the polio virus, which came back with the spread of terrorism in Syria. Since the early hours in the morning, all medical centers started to receive the citizens, providing the vaccine for their children to protect them from this vicious disease. Minister of Health Dr. Nizar El-Yazji, accompanied with the governor of Damascus countryside, Hussein Makhlouf, toured the medical and sheltering center in Qudsiyya and were briefed on the medical services provided to the citizens. Minister of Health emphasized the need to give the vaccines for all children in all parts of Syria and to provide necessary support for the medical centers and the medical teams, with the aim of upgrading the level of services. It's worth mentioning that eliminating the polio virus is a main objective for the Ministry of Health, to be accomplished by the continuous vaccination campaigns and also by raising awareness about the danger of polio and the risk of not receiving the vaccines.
Qunaytra countryside units of the Syrian Arab Army have eliminated terrorists after targeting their gatherings near the poultry of Tel Mashara and destroyed their weaponry, which they were using in their criminal acts, whereas in Daraa, our army units killed numbers of terrorists after targeting their hideouts in Dar al-Adas town and destroyed their equipment. The British newspaper The Telegraph has published a video on its website about the Kosovo lady Ranvera Zina Abazi, who was talking about her husband and her 8-year-old child who had gone to Syria for jihad without her knowledge. The authorities of Kosovo have not revealed the procedures of returning the child back from Syria.
Nisën që se kum ditën që jeta kam shku, kume nuk që janë të shku për Rogov, 2-3 ditë me pushu atje, me 7 korrekukon, aty ku e kum pa Arionin edhe Arbinin, ku ju më përshëndet edhe me ta, se kume në to që përshkojnë Rogov edhe kanë më këthy, edhe me 10 korrekukon ku e kum marrë mesajën, Arbinin që ma ka tërkuga, të shkruan që unë pranverin në Syri me djallë, të lajmëre edhe njëherë, se në kum bën telefone. E ku marrë vesh e premte o konën, masa ne mas 4 ditë jem taku me Rionin që është këtu. Një orë para se me mri Rionin këm kuptuan që është o ardhën, edhe a i ko një moment që i ka përshkrum që së më ditë atë që më dalë për shpijës me shkohen.
Interviewed by the German Deutsche Welle radio and TV station, the American writer David Ignatius said that the U.S.'s strategy to combat the terrorist organization ISIS has failed, adding that the so-called international coalition airstrikes have not achieved the sought goals. He pointed out that Europe would be the first to face the threats posed by ISIS, as thousands of the Europeans have left to Syria to join the terrorist organization. Ignatius added that the terrorists will come back later to the European countries to launch terrorist attacks. He concluded by saying that one of the motives behind forming the so-called international coalition to combat the extremist organizations was the imminent threat posed by the terrorists to Europe and the deep concern that they might return to their countries. The Russian ART channel has broadcast footage from inside the city of Ain al-Arab that shows the brutality of ISIS that has used internationally banned phosphoric bombs targeting the civilians. The channel's correspondent said that the victims' bodies have been deformed as a result of using this type of bombs, let alone on failed executions and targeting the civilians' houses. Many Saudi cities like Al-Qutaif and other cities on the eastern coast of the country have witnessed demonstrations demanding the dropping of the unjust death sentence against Sheikh Nimr al-Nimr. The demonstrations chanted slogans against the Saudi regime, describing it as the Wahhabi kingdom of oppression. It is to be noted that the peaceful oppositionist Sheikh Nimr al-Nimr has called in his speeches for freedom of speech, as well as political and intellectual freedom. The Russian security forces eliminated the terrorist Aslan Asanavov, mastermind of the terrorist blast in the Chechenian capital, in addition to his involvement in many other terrorist blasts in Chechnya. An official source in the Russian Interior Ministry asserted that the mentioned Alisanov tried to escape as he was shooting at the policeman, who killed him instantly. The terrorist blast that took place in the Chechen capital led to the killing of 5 policemen while trying to prevent that blast from exploding among the crowds. Minister of Higher Education Dr. Mohammed Amir Mardini has made a tour during which he checked the university students' residence in Damascus and the preparations underway to receive the new freshmen, in addition to the services offered. Mr. Mardini was briefed by some students on the obstacles they were facing. And with this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching us. For more details about Syria and the region, you can always view this bulletin again on our website in English, syriaonline.sy. After the break, it's Vani with our latest business and market news. God bless you and long live Syria.